I never got as many please hurry up with the video requests as I did for this one. Focal Alpha Twin Evo and Sub 1 official review first here on MixbusTv. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day. Before we start, please check the info box down below for my mixing courses on ProMix Academy, free plugin special discounts and offers, and of course link for the best price on the Focal Alpha Twin Evo and Sub 1. If you want to support the channel, but most important, if you really want to learn how to mix and master professionally, click the join button down here, become a MixbusTv member, access the already big and always growing library of full mixing courses, mastering courses on so many different genres, special videos, and a lot more. And if you want to grab some cool merch, we have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, pillows, all down the video here. As you know, if you follow all our social media pages, I had the new Focal Alpha Twin Evo and the Sub 1 for some time now. It's always a little bit weird to do speaker reviews on YouTube because you're not here in person, you can't hear them, but I'll try my best to describe them to you, to tell you what I like about them, what to look out for, what to expect, who are these monitors for. But the very first thing that I want to say about these entire systems, so the two Alpha Twin Evo plus the Sub 1, is that it is a perfectly matched set. And it's crazy that it is below $2,500. This setup is definitely one of the top 3 best bang for the buck in the market right now. Before telling you my personal experience with them on the field, we are gonna go very quickly through specs and features. The new near to midfield powered monitors by Focal, the Alpha Twin Evo, are priced at $659 US. The Evo line is meant to be a high performance one at an affordable price, and they definitely achieved this. These are definitely workhorse monitors. On the Twin, we have a 1-inch aluminum inverted tweeter and 2 6.5 inches slate fiber cone woofer, 50 watts each and 30 watts for the tweeter. The slate fiber cone was developed by Focal in France specifically for this series, and they are made of recycled carbon fiber. They are front ported with a really cool design, and the first cool feature is about their inputs on the back. All the different inputs on the back are level compensated, so you have a constant volume if you switch between those inputs. On the back we have a simple but effective 2-band EQ for lows and highs to adjust the speakers to your room and to your taste. On the back we also have a left monitor or right monitor switch depending on where you place them. One thing that I was very pleased with as soon as I turned them on, it was to notice that they have a pretty wide sweet spot, in par with more expensive systems. But the star of the show might be the Sub here. The Sub 1, priced at $999, is a 200-watt subwoofer with 2 double-skinned 8 inches slate fiber cone woofers. This sub will be a perfect match for any speaker in the Evo or Shape series. It is built like a tank, heavy, with rubber feet to decouple from the floor. Just like the speakers, it can go very loud, probably beyond anything you will need for critical mixing, with very, very little distortion, which is even more important when we talk about subwoofer. One cool feature about the Sub 1 is that it's also perfect for multi-sub systems, not just if you want stereo subs, but also for Atmos or extended system. The connections on the back allow you to connect, of course, your satellite speakers via XLR left and right, in and out. This way you can use the built-in crossover, which has 2 settings, 60 and 90 Hz. Below the normal connection we have the LFE ins and outs. If you were to run a multiple subsystem, these are the connection you'd use. The in will be fed by a multi-channel application, and the LFE out will be used to daisy chain other subs. This is a pretty cool feature paired with the bypass switch input, where you can connect a 2-position foot switch pedal, which is not included, but you can buy one for cheap. For example, this Zoom that I have here, to switch the sub or subs on and off just with a click. And if you're using the built-in crossover in the sub, when you switch the sub off, of course, the satellites will go back working full range. But my favorite feature of the sub must be the fully variable phase pot, which allows you to fine-tune the phase with a 0 to 100 degrees fully variable knob. We also have a level control knob and the fully variable low cut. Now on my experience with these monitors. At first I put the monitors on and tried them without the sub. The first thing that caught my attention was the low end. It was very, very focused, a very solid center image, and a way deeper low end than I was expecting from a 6.5-inch woofer. I mentioned earlier the left and right monitor switch on the back. This is because on the Twin Evo, one woofer is for the low end and one woofer is for the mid-range. And that switch changes in real time what woofer does what. And when I put the monitors on, you can see my placement. I tried to switch that to see if I liked better the low woofer to be in the inner side or the outer side. Not surprisingly, I like them the right way, with the low woofer being on the outer side. But this is something you can try in your room and switch and see which one you like better. If you're familiar with any Focal monitor, you know how detailed and open and extended the aluminum tweeter is. And these are no different. You can tell everything that is going on in your top end. Now, because I personally am particularly sensitive to high frequencies, I turned the top shelf down 2 dB. For me, for my personal taste and reference with my other monitors, that was the best balance, but that's something you have to decide for yourself. The low end was perfect, deep, focused, and very, very solid. I really loved it. And I was extremely familiar with the low end right there. Also because my other second pair of monitors are in the same exact position with a woofer on the other side, and those have 8 inches. And this low end might be even bigger and more focused than those ones. The stereo image is very good, it's not hyped at all. Actually, with that strong of a phantom center, it might even feel a little narrower, which I think it's better because your mixes will sound even wider outside of your studio. The speakers have a very fast transient response, especially on the tweeter, but not so much that your mixes will sound dual outside of your studio, because this is something that I've personally experienced with other brands of monitors. When they are excessively detailed, you tend to soften the material too much because it gets a little harsh to listen and hard, and the transients are so punchy, even too much, that you tend to soften things out. But then no other system has that kind of detail and your mix sounds dual. And this is not the case with this one. These are very balanced. But if you are new to Focal and to their tweeter, it's so extended that you might tend to cut the high end a little more than you would do with another pair of speakers. That's why I personally prefer them with the tweeter a little lower. The high mid-range, so the money range, is extremely clear, and I think they voice the woofer perfectly on these ones. The only thing that I found myself compensating for a little bit is the low mid-range. They seem a little forgiving there, but just like with any other speaker, when you build an ear for it and you learn how they work and how they translate outside of your studio, it's not something that is going to halt you from, delivering good mixes. But it's definitely something to keep in mind compared to the wide variety of speakers that I tried and owned during the year. They seem a little shy on the low mid-range, so pay attention to that. Now, when I put the sub in with the level at Unity, everything default, I was very pleased because something clicked, and as soon as I turned the sub on, this sounded like a full range system. It didn't sound like satellites plus sub. I hope this is gonna make sense, but my experience, the reason why I generally don't like 2.1 system is exactly that, because I can hear the speakers and I can hear the sub. I can hear them disconnected somehow. It doesn't matter the crossover frequency, it doesn't matter any settings. It's just a feeling. These sound like a whole system. This sounds like a system that has been tuned and designed to work together. And it feels that way. I was expecting to have to lower the volume of the sub right away, and it wasn't the case. Leave it at Unity and you have this added lower octave to your system, and the balance doesn't really change. The Unity level, in my opinion, in my room was just perfect, and I had subs in the past, and setting the right level is a nightmare by itself. This was the perfect level, just this added subtle sub layer to the system that is already balanced. So it was very pleasing, because of course you don't want an overpowering sub, because your mixes are gonna come out of your studio thin. and with no bass, because you hear so much in your room that you tend to cut and lower the level of your bass or kick. The sub itself sounds really clean and it has great dispersion. And granted, the sub frequencies are not directional, but I tried several placements, and granted my room is tuned, the difference were not as big as other 2.1 system that I tried in the past. This is probably thanks to the two opposite woofer design, the front part and all that. The full system can go very, very loud with very little distortion. These are definitely midfield monitors. You can put them in a small room as well, but if you have a big room, these will fill out the space. The foot switch in use, at least for me, is a very, very useful feature to have, because I generally speaking don't like subs. Well, I also don't need subs because, you know, those are gigantic. But when I did mix with subs, or occasionally I am in a room with a sub, to have the switch for me is essential, because even if I am in front of smaller monitors than these, I wouldn't want the sub all the time. I want to focus on the mid-range, and for me the lower octave is something I want to check here and there, but I don't want to have it all the time. So the foot switch is definitely a good thing to have. All in all, for me, this system is definitely a thumb up. For a little more, I think that $2,300, the price is crazy for what you get with this. So I know many of you were on the fence and waiting for this video to buy them. I think you can go ahead and be absolutely happy with either just the two monitors, and even more if you get the full system. But also remember, the sub can pair with any speaker from the Evo series or the Shape series, and then $999 for that sub, it's definitely great value for the money. I hope this video was useful, and I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, please don't forget to like and share. You will find the link to the best price for the entire system in the info box down below, along with all the other links. If I forgot something and you have questions, please leave it in the comment down below. I'll do my best to reply to you guys. Click the join button, become a MixbusTv member, subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat, lift me up.